Okay, we're going to do some notes about area and perimeter. I've got perimeter up there, but we don't do a whole lot with that. I know this is a review topic for a lot of you, so I'm just going to go through a couple of examples where maybe the items for the formulas aren't quite as obvious, or maybe you have to do a little bit more work to get the items that you need for each formula. So at the top here you can see I've got the formulas for area and perimeter of all these different shapes. You can also check the sheet with everything on it that I handed out also. All right, so let's just go down here. Just a quick reminder as far as triangles go. Triangle formula is base times height divided by 2. The base and the height are always perpendicular to each other. Okay, they're always perpendicular. So the height does not always have to be, as this formula shows, this is the height here. It is perpendicular to this base or this side of the triangle. Sometimes our height is outside the triangle. So this 14 outside here is how far it is from the top down to the base, which is the 29.5, times the 14 divided by 2. So just making sure that you understand the base is just the little piece of the triangle. The height is the perpendicular there. When you multiply those together, you're going to get 206.5. And because we're talking about area, that's going to be square inches. Next one is the parallelogram. The formula is base times height. Again, the base is going to be a side of the shape, and the height is going to be perpendicular to that side. So you can see here, this is perpendicular to this side of the shape. So the base is 11.8 times the height is 16.1. When you multiply those together, you get 189.98 square meters. Okay, this shape is actually a trapezoid. Okay, and a trapezoid formula, and you'll notice I usually write these out at the top or in my work area. In the formula, it's 1/2 base plus base times the height. Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Just seems to be a little bit easier calculating. The bases are always the ones that are parallel to each other. Okay, so these would be the bases. Again, that height is going to be the one that is in between them, perpendicular. Here's a good indicator of where that height is. All right, so the bases on this one are 7 and 13. I'm going to add them together. Then I'm going to take it times the height, which is 5, and divide that by 2. In this case, when I'm finding area, this 9 over here has nothing to do with it. Sometimes we might bring it in to help us find a height, but as far as this problem goes, there is no need for it. So I'm going to add the 2 inside the parentheses first. That's 20 times 5 is 100, divided by 2 gives me 50 millimeters squared. Okay, I put this one on here. I know we just went through circles, but don't forget area of a circle is pi r squared. Don't forget to get r. So in this case, the diameter is 26. The radius then is 13. So when I go to put in my formula, I need to use the 13. Okay, so 13 squared times pi gives me 530.93 square yards. Let's go to page 2. Page 2 is just, again, some different items. So we've got the triangle has an area of 45.5, has a base that measures 14, find the height. So it's important to write out your formula. And then in that formula, you're going to substitute the pieces that you know. We know the area is 45.5. We know the base is 14, so B is 14. And all I need to have left in my equation then is H. So several different ways you can solve this. I'm going to go ahead and, because I can divide 14 by 2, that's going to give me 7H. Divide by 7. You could also cross multiply, it'd get you the same answer. So the height then is 45.5 divided by 7, which is 6.5. This was in centimeters, so this label would be on centimeters. Okay, and that's all they asked us to do. We're done. We want to find the perimeter of a square with an area of 361. So if you look on the formula chart, a square the area is side squared, because on a square, all 4 of these sides are going to be exactly the same. Okay, and they're going to be right angles in all the corners. So in this case, they're telling me the area is 361. So in place of the a, I'm going to put 361. I don't want s squared, I just want s, so I'm going to square root. And the square root of 361 is 19. Okay, now they didn't ask me to find the side, but I needed to find the side to help me find perimeter. So perimeter is actually 4 times the side. Or I can think 19 plus 19 plus 19 plus 19. That'll give me the same thing as 4 times 19, which is, so I'll just do it here quick, 76. And we're talking about feet. So perimeter is just a linear measurement. We're just measuring the lines going around. So that measurement is just going to be the same as feet. On this triangle, again, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. But remember I said the base and the height are always the 2 that are perpendicular to each other. So because we don't have this side, which would be a height with this base, I need to find this side right here first. Okay, we have a way of finding that. Using Pythagorean Theorem will allow me to find one side of a right triangle when I know the other 2. So to set that up, I'm going to go leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. When you do all that, you get x equals 16.8. So that right there is 16.8. That happens to be the height. So my area is going to be 7 times 16.8 divided by 2. Okay, so I just had to go that little extra step because I didn't have the height on my picture. So I used Pythagorean Theorem to help me find the height. And then when I multiply that together, I should get 58.8. And this is area, so we'd have square feet. Okay, the last one is a trapezoid. The formula for trapezoid, again, is base plus base times the height divided by 2. And you might see in other books or other websites a different way of writing these. There are several different ways that can go about. These bases, sometimes they'll put a 1 and a 2 here just to signify that it's 2 different ones. Remember, the bases are always the 2 that are parallel. So this is a base and this is a base. The height always has to be perpendicular to the base, one or the other. But you can see there's no perpendicular lines. 10 is kind of a slant between them. So that 10 is not the height. But we can draw some lines in here that will help us. If I come straight down here like this. Okay, those dotted lines I just put in there are actually the height of the trapezoid. But I don't know how to find that except recognizing this 7 is going to be the same from here to here is going to be 7. 19 minus 7 gives me 12. That 12 will be divided equally between each side. So that's going to be 6 and that's going to be 6. Now why do I do that? Because that's going to give me this side of the triangle. I know this side, the hypotenuse is 10. If I can find this, I'll put an X there. If I can find that, then I'll know the height of my trapezoid and I can solve it for the area. So I'm basically just going to look at just one triangle just like that, where the sides are x, the legs are x and 6, and the hypotenuse is 10. So a little sidebar over here, x squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. When you work that all out, you get x equals 8. So now I have my height of my trapezoid. I'm going to fill in 7 plus 19 times the 8 divided by 2. Multiply them together, 104 square centimeters. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know.